I'm Diva Dhar. I'm a PhD student in public policy at the Blavatnik School of Government in Oxford, and I'm presenting joint work with Gaurav Chiplankar at the University of Virginia and Radhika Nagesh. The paper I'm going to talk about is motivated by the issue of low learning levels in India, like in many other developing countries, where students are lagging far behind required grade level competencies in their skills and learning outcomes. The ASAR report in India in 2017 showed that over half of 14 to 18-year-olds in the country could not perform a simple mathematical operation of division. This is a huge issue in a country which is hoping to reap benefits from a demographic dividend. What we're going to discuss in this paper is an evaluation of a collaborative blended learning program led by Avanti Fellows, which aim to fill in these gaps at the post-primary level for math and science. I'll start by giving you a high-level summary of the paper and key results. Like in the SR reports, we find that the grade 9 students in our sample in Chennai are lagging far behind. At baseline, on average, they're still mastering skills required in second grade. In schools that were randomly selected for the treatment, students underwent a year of Avanti's daily after-school program, led by trained facilitator. Avanti's model combines supplementary academic materials, facilitator instruction, and peer learning. Peer learning was really at the core of their pedagogy. At the end of the academic year, our study finds a significant effect on basic math and reading skills, 0.5 standard deviations on ASAR tests, which compares favorably with other programs evaluated in the literature, such as Read India. The graph shows the N-line scores for treatment students in pink, vis-a-vis the control group in blue. We also wanted to see if these gains in foundational skills translated into broader improvements in educational outcomes at the post-primary level. However, we find no detectable effects or gains in national grade 10 standardized exams, which test for more advanced skills, such as the ones you see listed on the right side of the figure, like algorithms, exponents, calculus. These exams are an important academic milestone which determine future academic choices, but we don't find any improvements here. We also find no effects on cognitive, non-cognitive skills, or indeed on parental investment. We conclude that even intensive academic remedial or support programs at the post-primary level, like Avanti's, while moving the needle on basic skills, are insufficient to overcome the extent of deficiencies that have accumulated for these students in grade 9. It's too little, too late to overcome the chasm between students' current learning levels, which is on the left side of the graph, and the required grade level skills, the ones you see on the right side of the graph. This points to the need for a fundamental rethink around post-primary education initiatives. It underscores the argument for teaching at the right level, and also the importance of teaching at the right stage before it gets too late. I'll now get into more details on the setup of the experiment and the program. As I mentioned earlier, the study context is students in grade 9 in Chennai Municipal Corporation schools who are still mastering skills needed at grades 2 and 3. For example, only half are able to complete division exercises at baseline. The program we evaluate is a blended learning after-school program for math and science in grade 9, run by a non-profit organization called Avanti Fellows in collaboration with the Chennai Municipal Corporation, with the objective of improving the performance and outcomes of students in STEM ahead of their national grade 10 exams. Avanti ran a pilot for this after-school program in the 2016-17 academic year, based on a blended learning model they had developed and adapted for low resource settings. The model combines the following features. First, video lectures, presentations, worksheets, and supplementary materials in the local language, Tamil in this case. Secondly, facilitator-led classroom instruction to reinforce concepts. Third, peer learning through team exercises and group discussions. Peer learning was the cornerstone of this program. And finally, some career counseling and guidance was also given to students and parents. The program was conducted after school for an hour for 5 days a week and ran for 40 weeks in the academic year. The after-school sessions were led by Avanti's trained facilitators, usually young graduates with a bachelor's degree, typically, though not always, in science, who receive training in facilitating classroom sessions, which rely on peer learning, teamwork, and student collaboration. To test the program, this study covers 24 schools. half of which were randomly selected using a transparent paper lottery to receive Avanti's program, and the remaining 12 were allocated to control. 45 boys and girls in each school enrolled in grade 9 were randomly selected to be part of the study at baseline. It's a small sample, and in our paper we use methods such as wild bootstrap and randomization inference to control for this small sample. For our data collection, we collected baseline and endline data at the start of the 2016-17 academic year and endline at the end of the year. Our sample consisted of 1,044 students at baseline and 880 students at endline. We account for this attrition in the analysis of our results by using Lee bounds as well. We had 3 sets of surveys. First, questionnaires which asked questions on students' backgrounds, academic information, parental support and investment. Secondly, ASAR tests for basic reading and math, which covered 5 levels for basic reading and math skills, levels 1 to 5. And thirdly, a battery of tests, games, and exercises to measure non-cognitive skills. The survey tools were all administered in Tamil. Finally, we also got 10th grade national exam scores for students when they finished grade 10. The focus of this study is to evaluate the program's impact on educational outcomes, measured by learning tests and exam scores. Secondary outcomes included non-cognitive skills and gender attitudes, as well as parental support and investment. In terms of basic learning outcomes measured by ASAR tests, there is a significant gain for students in treatment schools. They improve their reading and math scores by 0.5 levels, half a level on the ASAR test in relation to the control school. This is equal to about 0.5 standard deviations and compares, as I mentioned, favorably with programs like Read India, which have been previously evaluated in India. However, the stark gain in foundational outcomes fails to translate into gains on exam scores in math, science, or other subjects in grade 10 exams. This is not surprising. The grade 10 exam tests for advanced concepts such as calculus and math, whereas the students are still mastering basic skills such as division. So even by raising the floor, the program doesn't help them reach the ceiling. This is an important finding, and I'll touch on this more later. We also don't find consistent results in indices measuring non-cognitive skills or gender attitudes displayed by students. There is also no increase in parental support or investment for students' education. Our study concludes that while Avanti's program itself was effective in shifting basic learning outcomes in terms of standard deviations, this is just not enough at the post-primary level. The students are so far off from where they need to be, as you can see in the graph, that even an intensive daily after-school program to help recover lost time can't make a meaningful dent in grade level testing outcomes. As the figure on the right shows, many students are still struggling at problems of division or reading a story, especially in the control group. But what they're being taught at school and are being asked to do is solve problems related to algebra, trigonometry, calculus. To our mind, this signals the need to rethink post-primary education initiatives, especially in places where there are high learning gaps. It makes a strong case for intervening much, much earlier, which is what Avanti is also doing now. It reinforces the importance of findings, such as teaching at the right level, as well as teaching at the right stage, given the futility of trying to teach advanced post-primary level concepts to those who are still improving, if not sliding back, in basic outcomes. Addressing these gaps is going to be crucial to ensure that young people who are going through the school system are getting the skills and knowledge they need to fulfill their potential in a 21st century economy, and for India to harness its long-awaited demographic dividend.